Good, man. How are you?
You're pretty good. I have just
Yeah.
one question for you.
Okay.
You don't have to take too long on it, but you know, if you were to start from zero, but you had $10,000, what would you invest it in for wholesaling, just to start out?
Um, well, uh, the the first investment I was always making myself, and this is where you guys get you get convoluted in what like gurus and it's coaches and mentors call them whatever you want. Okay. I want you to understand, like, so you see this all the time. Like I've
Mhm.
heard your question before, but people put it on the internet. I only
Sure.
have $10,000 to start wholesaling. What would you do first? Every guru is going to tell you on there, you got to give him the 10 grand.
Exactly right.
Okay. And dude, and you're going to think, oh my God, this guy just solved my problem. And you're going to be so happy for about a week. And then the reality is going to set in like, crap. I didn't ask a lot of questions, did I? I didn't realize there's 200 people other in the program than me. How am I going to get that personalized attention? How does he even know how to work in my market? Do you currently wholesale? Do you have a HUD? And all of a sudden you get NDA agreements and stuff like that. I'm here to tell you, I see a lot of people starting this business with money, and money is not going to buy you success in this. Like I'm telling you right now, my favorite way to teach people is to get government lists and driving for dollars. And then you can spend a little bit money on services. I'm talking a couple $100 here and there. You're going to need some money for skip tracing. That's where I would focus on. I would focus on the highest quality lists I can. And then
I
I'm going to go through freewholesaling.com and I'm going to go crazy. And I want to spend $200 or $300 and turn it into 10,000. And once you do it once, the light bulb goes off so far in your head, you're like, holy crap, this works. And imagine what happens when I learn to actually how to negotiate and get like really good deals and really good cash buyers and kind of go from there. That's how I started out wholesaling. For full disclosure, I paid people multiple big ticket prices only to find out major disappointment. Now, I took a few nuggets from them, but mostly it was terrible advice. And the one thing that got me fired up for wholesaling, I got on a plane. So back in the days in 03, 04, I
Yeah.
had to get on a plane, go to like a RIA, and I went to a big, there what we call today a pep rally. And I remember that all the paid speakers, I didn't even understand how it works. And I was sitting there waiting for speakers to come on in the hallway, and a gentleman came up, sat down next to me, and talked to me for 20 minutes. And honestly, I was like, either if I get a deal or I'm going to get out of this business. And he just sat down and said, you're looking at this game way too fast. You need to slow down. Lo and behold, he wound up being one of the guest speakers on there. His name was Robert Sheeman. You guys ever look him up? I'm actually good friends with him, and he's one of the reasons I got into wholesaling because I tried to do traditional real estate investing and it sucked. It was like terrible. I'd buy a rental and like I wouldn't make any money and pay it off in 10 years. And then he kind of showed me wholesaling, and he showed me kind of like the $30,000 foot view. And I'm like, okay, well, if I can minimize my risk and just move deals fast, that makes sense. I can make cash today. But like he got up on stage and sold, but like him just sitting down and saying, hey, you can do it. I believe in you. Like was just took the heart and took the time with me. And that's it. So number one, I think you got a pretty good mindset. I tell everybody, if you are even like, if you don't even think this is a possibility in like these worlds, take the first $1,000. You go find a program that will push your mind to the limit. Tony Robbins, UPW, is between $500 and $700. He does an event like 5 or 6 times around the United States. I think he's got one coming up in here, and he does Florida every November. And so I go every other year just to sit in the crowd because there's something that I can't even describe to you. And then you see what the possibilities are in life. And then you look at like 100 grand, like it's like, I can't believe I thought that was a lot of money. And then you start talking to people making millions of dollars and people that have, and then you got people that are completely broke, but they're so excited, but they don't know what to do. And I find them some of the funnest people in the world. So you have to open up your mindset. If you have a completely closed off mindset, wholesaling will not work until you open the mindset up. Sometimes people can simply just read a book. Some people have to immerse themselves in an experience. The only reason I recommend Tony Robbins because I know it's safe. Like you can't get hurt there. He's not going to teach you how to flip houses.
Yeah.
He's just going to teach you what to do when you get freedom of time, more time with your family, travel wherever you want, do what you want when you want. Guys, dude, life is short. Life is brutally short. You have no idea how short it is until somebody changes that event for you. So that's why I do wholesaling. So past that, I just like old school tactics, government list, driving for dollars, and reverse driving for dollars. You know why? Because that's what works best in my business. For full to record, I spend money on direct mail, but like I have a system and I have a whole team. And honestly, I don't do anything with it other than fund it.
Uh,
And but guys, I was in the trenches 7 years before I even hired someone to do it. And now it's like clockwork. I'm like, okay, I spend this. I know it. And guys, I don't spend 20, 30 grand a month. I spend 5 to 6 grand a month and I get a really nice fat return for it. And by the way, I do it in multiple markets. So that's just one market. And that's how I do it. Why? Because I put in the time, I put in the work, and I got it done. So still my favorite deals are ones that were just giving me. Last week, I went by my title company to do another closing. She's going, hey, listen, this guy just backed out of a deal. He's a newbie. It's a really good deal. He's just freaking out. You want it. I go, what's he want? He goes, he doesn't want anything. He just wants you to like fill in for his shoes. Not only did I get the deal, but I knocked 5 grand off of it by talking to the seller because they said the seller won't take any less. I go, they haven't talked to me yet. And so I went in and I did that deal. And like, so my favorite thing in the world is get deals where I spend no money because there's some sort of like status you get with that because it's an infinite return. And then once you start making money, you can sit back and kind of make money. And I have a lot of fun with it. So you got to find out where you are on it. So how long have you been wholesaling for?
Actually, I just been doing it for about like 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
And,
so so guys, our whole theme of this is how does wholesaling work? How does it really work? The problem with the guru, okay, say you take the course. I don't care whatever they charge you for it. What's the first thing they're going to tell you after you pay them? What do you think they're going to tell you to do?
Go out and do it. Or more money.
You know what, Tristan? It'd be a lot easier if you spend like $4,000 to $5,000 a month on marketing.
Right.
Easier on who? Are you kidding me? Guys, you give me a wholesaling program where like you don't even pay me. I go, listen, you got to spend 5 grand a month on marketing. I can take you all to the promised land. But the reality is the people who do best are the ones who figure out how to do it with little to no money because it is a skill set. How many times you guys ever see when people win the lottery, what happens, right? You know what happens to 90% of the people win the lottery, right?
They spend it all.
They spend it because they never learned the discipline and the skill sets on how to manage money and make it grow. Now, don't get mad. I'm here to teach you how to get the money. You guys are going to have to go on the journey to keep the money, and I can help you out with that. But like, I went on a roller coaster ride when I did it, and I bought everything. I bought beachfront houses, high-end cars, really nice boats, and I wasn't fulfilled when it was all said and done. So I can promise you, buying all that stuff, I know it sounds good. It doesn't work. So if you can do a mix of them, if I'm going in brand new and I'm like fearless and I'll do cold calling, most of my money past myself is going to be on skip tracing and just setting up some basic softwares to help me get through listarei.com, zacdata.com, whatever it is, maybe Deal Machine, and just get them up and going. You guys, you got to understand a lot of these, like a little affiliates we tell you is we use them in our business because if you want to hire an employee, I'll show you what, if you think $100 is expensive, wait till you have to spend 3 grand a month on someone for the next 12 months. It's expensive. And remember, that's only a $35,000, $36,000 employee. That's cheap in today's world. So you always got to spend some money. Like Nicole, she took a risk on $5. She'll live.
Yeah.
Maybe it works out for her, but she'll learn. It's not always about the money when you do it. But I can't stand this pitch where they say, give me 5 grand and then you spend 5 grand a month. Okay. Well, in 3 months, that means you're going to be 20 grand in the hole and you do one $10,000 deal and then you're giving someone a success story. It drives me freaking nuts. So if I'm a cold caller, I'm going to go in and have a budget, probably $500, $600 for skip tracing. And I'm going to push that till I get a deal. I'm going to do reverse driving for dollars on probably the pre-foreclosure list. And then the probate, I'm just going to cold call it till I get one. And that, honestly, that is the mentality you need to do. If I thought there was a cheat sheet, you could spend 10 grand to flip 20 houses next month. Everybody on this live, everybody, you would be it's BS. That's the problem. Everybody tells you can do that. It doesn't work that way. The reality is, like Dylan, I spoke to a couple weeks ago, he sat on these lives. If you guys were here when he started, for 4 months. And we had some really hard talks. I said, Dylan, listen, you're just going to have to man up and you're going to have to keep pounding it till you get it. And he's like, I'm not sure I can do it. He goes, okay, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And now I talk to him now. Now he's got so many deals. 6 months into it, he brought his, I don't know if his wife or his girlfriend. Don't get me in trouble on that. And then he's looking to hire like 2 more people. He's like, how do I do this? I'm like, are you sure you want to hire people? Because I go, I have to have 90 days where you're foaming at the mouth. And then you hire people, because when you hire people, they have families that depend on you. And if you guys ever work for someone and then the next day don't have a job because they didn't plan for it, I don't want you to be that person. So if I thought you could throw 20 grand and go out, get 10 houses, I would literally give you the cheat sheet right now. Right. So the only other way you can do that, if you partnered up with someone that had that skill set, and then maybe you funded it, but boy, you better really know that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So that there is no way, like, so if you pay a guru 10 grand, 5 grand, 3 grand, I saw one today for $1,000, of course. You still have to put the work in. You're still going to have to, if you want to spend marketing dollars, you still have to spend it. So you better figure out how to really market. And honestly, even if you're spending 5 grand a month on direct mail or whatever you're doing, you should still be accessing all the free lists you possibly can to fill up your pipeline as much as humanly possible, because leads don't, ready for this? Leads don't know if you're spending money for them or not. They have no idea. Only you do. And you guys, if you see any of these, like, get this software, it'll solve your life, only stick with the big boys. PropStream, Batch, like Deal Machine, like they're reputable companies that stick around. And I've seen so many companies come and go. And if you have to deal with customer service with a VA for a data company, get rid of them. It's really bad stuff, guys. That means the owner's running it so cheap. It's like on shoestring. And don't get me wrong, we run wholesaling budgets on shoestring budgets. But if you have $1 million, like a data company, I can't wait 2 days for you to get back to me. Like, it just drives me nuts. So skip tracing would probably be my biggest resource. And I would go directly to Batch to do that.
Batch leads. Sounds good. And just have one more question, actually. So okay, for the subject of tax liens, do you think that is a good area to invest in the long term for just a safe hold for your money?
Okay, so I'm going to do an exercise here real quick for you. Because I want to help you out, because I want to make sure that you always know what you're talking about. So this is to help you, not hurt you, okay? I'm putting on my screen with my doctor's handwriting here. Awesome. Okay, so you said tax lien, right?
Yes, sir.
What's a tax lien mean to you?
A tax lien is, well, it's a debt put on a property. And if it's not paid, the house can be foreclosed on, I suppose.
Okay.
And so tax lien certificates, I guess you can buy to ensure that your money is paid back in full.
Okay. So there's tax liens. There's tax certificates.
Okay.
And then there's to be a thing called a tax deed. Some of them call them an application.
Okay.
And then there's a tax deed sale. Okay. As a wholesaler, you want to understand, okay, which ones like really like, which ones are you targeting? So we're targeting people that haven't paid their property taxes.
Okay.
And you want them ideally to be 2 years behind. Because if they're 2 years behind, you know that they are not financing their taxes. They just don't have the money to pay for it. So where there's smoke, there's fire. So to cut short through it is you're looking for tax delinquencies.
Delinquencies. Okay.
C's, whatever. You know, I'm not going to get into the English on it. Okay.
Right.
This is the sweet spot for wholesaling. Okay. This right here just explains the process when someone doesn't pay their taxes. Okay. Who's always in control of the real estate at the end of the day?
The seller.
Correct. So who do you want to deal with?
The seller.
The only way you can deal with the seller is once you get notified they're on a tax delinquency list, which is kept at what level? Who holds that list?
The building department? Oh, wait.
Yeah, so it'd be like on a county level. So it's the county treasurer or whatever, okay? And then usually after springtime, you get on this list. And usually you miss 1 year, often they miss 2. Now, sometimes if they have a mortgage, they'll go ahead and pay that tax lien,
Right.
that tax delinquency, because tax liens, so you guys know they're in the first position. They can wipe out the mortgage. Okay. So the tax lien just means is a lien on the property for taxes. Now you can go into like listrei.com and find that. You can find other services and you can look for liens. But honestly, you're way late to the game on this one, and I wouldn't even. It's just I'd rather get the tax delinquency because it's fresh. Okay, you have to sort it.
Okay.
Tax certificates, when they basically auction off the taxes so the city can operate and fund their fire department, the police department, and they sell tax certificates. Okay. That's like an investment, like you buy a CD or something else. It gives you no rights to buy the business or anything like that. Don't do it. I'm just telling you, you have no advantage buying the tax certificate. Everyone's like, oh, you get first shot buying the property. No, you don't. Because I go to these auctions. I'm just telling you, you have to get in line and bid it up like everyone else. Now, after 2 years, you can apply for a tax deed application, which basically allows you to foreclose on that lien. And because you're in a first position, it goes to a tax deed sale, which is basically AKA just like your regular foreclosure auction. Sometimes they do a separate one.
Okay.
And here's the deal. So say I have a $100,000 house and I own a tax certificate for $2,000. I'm getting paid 8%.
Right.
So I'm just going to make sure it gets bid up to like $2,300 to cover my interest in that. Okay. What happens after $2,300?
I'm kind of drawing a blank here.
Okay. So I'm teaching you. It's an open bid now.
Open bid? Okay. So
guess who wins the open bid?
Everyone else?
The highest bidder.
Highest bidder.
Do you ever want to be the highest bidder in wholesaling?
No, never.
Stay away from a tax deed sale. They're torture.
Yeah.
I look around, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're going to, like, a lot of them pay more than what the retail value of the house is.
Wow.
With a bad renter or owner in it, with years of taxes behind. And I'm telling you, you're better off just going straight to the tax delinquency list and just rip through it, find out people who want to sell their house. And then they have a motivating factor, because if they don't clear this, the house will definitely be foreclosed on and pitched to the highest bidder.
Awesome.
And the thing is, so if the house is worth $100K, it's typically going to sell for like 95 to 98. They're going to discount the lien, and that's it. And that's you. There's no advantage, guys. And then the only ones where the guy or gal that applies for the tax deed application, it winds up being raw vacant land that nobody can develop on and nobody wants it.
Okay.
And then if nobody bids on the property, it goes back on the county, and that's how the county has these massive list of tax delinquent properties. Nobody wants them. So just be careful like what you buy on it.
Yeah.
All you want as a wholesaler is the tax delinquency list. And then you can sort through it, because you want to find the ones that are 2 years behind on your average sale price in the areas that you want. And so like my county's got 25,000. I sort it down to about less than 3,000.
Sure.
And then we just go through and cold call every one of them. And like we always walk away with money on it. But here's the deal. The list, in my opinion, just pull it once a year. So it's not hard to get. So once you get it, you have a list. Get it in an Excel spreadsheet, a CSV file, and just sort the list out. All the columns are clearly marked on there. The type of property they are, if it's multifamily, if it's vacant land. They'll tell you how many years behind, what are the taxes, and they'll even tell you what the value of the property is. It's one of the easiest lists that you can get. So just stick with the tax delinquency. The problem is if you go down and ask for a tax lien, you're going to get like all the recorded liens, and like you're going to miss a lot of people that are on that list. If you ask for a tax certificate, you're going to get a whole nother list, and then the tax deed application, and then you ask for a tax deed sale, you're just going to get a regular foreclosure auction. So ask for the tax delinquency, my favorite list. Guys, the taxes have gotten out of control here as of late, and I'm telling you, it's going to be people are going to get their tax bill, which they're getting them as we speak, opening the mail. I just got 2 of my tax bills on my commercial units, and I'm not in shock, but I'm not happy. So it's like, people get these and they go, oh, well, who's going to pay it? And they're like, well, let's just let it ride. But like once they let it ride 1 year, it's always 2 years and it's going. Right. And so many people go, well, what if I buy the tax certificate, then I go knock on the door? I'm like, Why do you need to buy a tax certificate to go knock on the door? Just knock on the door if that's what you do, or cold call them, right? Why would you spend thousands of dollars to call someone that doesn't want to sell you their house?
You wouldn't.
They got to sell it. I'm like, I agree, but like I've sat there while they get kicked out. Like a lot of them are in denial right up to the last day. Now the good news is, if they're 30 days away from a sale, a tax foreclosure for a deed foreclosure is much more forgivable than a bank foreclosure.
Right.
Because they already know the amounts that due, and you go directly to the county and you can actually get it solved. And in 48 hours or 72 hours, you can actually clear that lien and have that property bought. So if it's in the 30 days, like at the end, don't panic. On a regular foreclosure, panic because it's usually a Hail Mary pass. It's going to take a lawyer to fix it. So make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I really
So many people go into the departments, they go, I want the tax lien certificate. And they're like,
Right.
you sure you want that? Like, and they come back to me. They go, I got this strange thing. They're telling me to bid on it. I'm like, you just want the list. You just want the master list. It's going to be a huge list. And then you go through sort it. And then if you don't know how to sort it, just take $10 or $20, find someone on Fiverr, and you write down exactly what you want them to sort it. In a day or two, they'll do the whole thing for you. I once worked on a list for like 14 hours once. I said, I will never, ever do that again. Like, if I could spend $10 and they do it in like 2 hours, and you're going to take you 14 hours and you're probably going to screw it up.
Right.
It's the difference between you making $20,000 or $30,000. So just, that's where I spend the $10 or $20. Like, so most of the money, Tristan, so you guys know how wholesaling really works. You have to put in the work. No matter, you could get Oprah Winfrey down here to teach you wholesaling if she was the expert in it. You still have to do the work. And that's what the gurus are like, I don't understand. Like, it worked for me. I don't know why it's not working for you. And understand, guys, if you ever get a guru program and they talk about evergreen or lifetime, it's just a tricky way to get you in. Like, there's no way somebody can promise that. It's physically impossible. And by the way, the lifetime's only as good until they sell the company. And once they do that, no one's going to honor it after the fact. Do you know how many lifetime memberships I have in like mentorships? It's a joke. None of them still exist, by the way. Right. And the only ones that exist is from sheer friendships. That's it. So you're better off like organically doing it. Do not advertise the world. You got 10 grand to do it. Honestly.
Exactly.
So the reality is you probably need like a couple grand, but that would drag you through 3 or 4 months to get you your first deal.
It's like marketing, you know.
Yeah. You got to become like a master marketing, because it's not, as I said, the biggest spend I would do if I was in your shoes would be on skip tracing, because I don't have to get in a car and I can have like the most powerful effect, and you'll have to balance your time out. And you do it. People are like, how long do you do it? I go, just do it till you can't handle it anymore. And then go take a break, go to the pool, take a few days off and go back and just hammer it hard again. That's how I kind of work. I don't have a schedule. I just work till I'm done working.
That's good.
Okay, man. Keep it going.
Appreciate it.